Good afternoon and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. Celtic 3, Livingston 0, and a much changed squad. Who was the best player on the pitch today, and what player do we need? Have we underestimated the squad? And that's the poll question for tonight. Have we underestimated, or are we being too harsh on the Celtic squad? Give me your thoughts in the comment section. Are we being too harsh on the Celtic squad? Do we have enough in the squad to win the SPFL, to win a treble? Or is it all about how we perform in the Champions League? Are we looking too much into Brendan Rodgers' dream of taking this club forward in the Champions League? And should we just settle? Should we just settle for being dominant in Scottish football? That's the question that I want to ask this evening. The board are happy with us just being dominant in Scottish football. The head of the SPFL came out yesterday, Doncaster, and said there's an issue in Scottish football. It's because Celtic keep getting Champions League money. No, it's not. It's because you get shit TV deals, mate. But anyway, the panic merchants, calm down. Remember, keep calm, blame Ida. Blame Adam Ida. Scales was brilliant today. Give Scales that captain armband, because I don't know what happened to him. Scales was just immense, but it was Livingston. Let's not look too much into it. Let's look at the stats of the game. And the stats of the game: Celtic had 19 shots in total, 9 shots on target, 79% possession, 737 passes, 91 pass accuracy. Strangely enough, the pass accuracy went up this game. Was it because Livingston were sitting back and it allowed the players a bit of ease of passing? Well, you could say that. There was no yellow cards with Celtic. There were 10 corners though, and of one of those corners we managed to score a goal. Benji. Let's talk about Benji first of all. He was the man that made the first goal, and he was the man that kept on his run into the box. I don't think he's as good as what Matt O'Reilly was. I definitely don't think he's as good as Jota or Dyson Maeda on the wing, but he's a player that seems to be improving. Scales is a better footballer than many give him credit for, says Brown Warrior. Yeah, he is, but let's not. Do you know, one good game doesn't make you Maldini. As much as many think that he is Maldini, one good game doesn't make you Maldini, does it? I mean, it was Livingston. Let's face it, we're all expecting Livingston to finish down the bottom of the league somewhere. So let's not get carried away. Paul Meekin says we still need strength. Yeah, tell me, Jam Parks took. Oh, let's get the SPFL full-time scores, Baz. Because where are Celtic in the table? Full-time scores. The scores on the doors. Scores on the doors this afternoon. Celtic 3, Livingston 0. Dundee United versus Aberdeen postponed. Hearts 3, Motherwell 3. Hurrah! Kilmarnock versus Dundee. Full-time 0-0. Falkirk versus Hibernian, match postponed. So what does that do to the SPFL table? Yes, top of the league, top of the league, top of the league, we're top of the league. Yes, Celtic are, after 3 games played, top of the league. 3 matches won, none drawn, none lost. 6 goals for. I tell you one thing, glad that we did win and Hearts dropped points, because if Hearts had won the game, they would have still been top of the table, because they would have been 2 goals better off than Celtic, even though that Celtic scored 3 this afternoon. That's a good day all round so far. Cracking day all round. Nobody can get above us in the league. Simple. It's brilliant. We're top of the league. It's looking good. Does that paper over the cracks? Does it paper over the cracks? I don't think so. The Huns are 7th. Let's talk about the SPFL table slightly for just a minute or so. Celtic are first on 9 points. Hearts are in second position on 7 points. Hibernian are on 4 points. Livingston dropped down 1 to 4th position. I feel like I'm doing the top 40 countdown. Livingston are on 4 points in 4th place. In 5th place, I should have done it for 12 down to, well, no. Yeah, let's do it the other way, like top of the pops. Who knows the top of the pop tunes? Aberdeen in 12th position on 0 points. In 11th, Falkirk on 1 point. 10th, coming in at number 10 is St Mirren on 1 point. Coming in at number 9, Dundee United with 1 point. Dundee coming in at number 8 on 2 points. The Rangers are your Rangers in disguise. Coming in number 7th, yes, 7th position in the league on 2 points. Even if they win tomorrow, they're still, Jesus, they could jump up to 3rd, but who cares? And let's hope that St Mirren, because St Mirren are on 1 point, and they'll be thinking, well, we need to beat Sevco at home, and they've done it before. Anyway, in 6th place is Kilmarnock on 3 points. In 5th place is Motherwell on 3 points. 4th place is Livingston, who dropped down 1 position to 4th position on 4 points. Hibernian have managed to climb up, even though they didn't play. They climbed above them because Livingston are now on -1 of a goal difference, and Hibernian are on +1. So without kicking a ball, Hibernian have managed to climb up the table. Hearts are in second position on 7 points, and Celtic are top of the league, looking down on everyone. Played 3, won 3, drawn 0, lost 0, 4, 6 against 0, goal difference of +6. That is your SPFL. Oh, Baz doing his like granddad's results broadcast. Yeah, that's it. We need a little bit of a laugh. We've had some pure negativity, man, kicking around the ether. So let's just mix it up a bit, and it is what it is, isn't it? And take a draw after Tuesday be much harder over there. It is all about the players. Will get a little pat in the back. Arne Engels, what do you think of Arne Engels today? He's good for his corners, but when it comes to the pitch, £11 million price tag is a little bit steep, isn't it? I thought he would shine a little bit more. For me, I thought that today. What about Inamura? Now I'm going to say that Inamura, the first 20 minutes of the game, Inamura, all he did was pass back to Scales. And I'm starting to think, Inamura, oh my goodness. I wasn't too sure about Inamura, but he started to grow into the game. Brendan Rodgers must have had words with him at half time, because I tell you one thing, he had a couple of good crosses in the second half, and he grew into the game a bit. I think he was a bit nervous and just passing back to Scales just to be safe in the first 25-30 minutes of the game. The game turned around. Look at Inamura for the third. Calmack saying pass back. Inamura plays forward. Maeda, boom, cross, Kenny, goal. Yep, that's what I said. Inamura just kind of, yeah. Baz, you said it would be difficult for us to score. I said it would be 1-0. I said it would be 1-0. And I couldn't see where the goals were coming from the team that started. So don't mix my words, from the team that started. Although Benji bucked in with 2 goals, people thought that Benji might score. He's not been a prolific goal scorer so far, so yep, but I stand by it. I thought I couldn't see where the goals were going to come from with that starting 11. And let's face it, Johnny Kenny. Let's talk about Johnny Kenny. Is Johnny, tell me in the comments section, is Johnny Kenny the best Celtic striker we have at the moment? Is he better than Shin Yamada? Is he better than Adam Ida? And is he better than Callum Osmond, who can't get on the pitch? I am not including Dyson Maeda in this, because he is not a striker at Celtic. He's a winger. Forget about him playing through the middle. Yes, you know, he plays fantastic through the middle. But is Johnny Kenny the best striker we have at Celtic right now? He took that goal absolutely brilliant. When he gets the ball and he takes it up after Schmeichel throws the ball out. Schmeichel's been watching Sinisalo. He's been watching Sinisalo, because Schmeichel, to be fair, is as good a goalkeeper as he is. He's not been putting it out as quick is what he did for that throw out to Johnny Kenny today. To see Johnny Kenny going out in the wing and then Johnny Kenny going all the way up, right up to the top of the pitch and getting the corner, making the defender make the tackle to get the corner. Big Adam Ida doesn't do that. Shin Yamada, well, Shin, Kenny, Osmond, Ida in that order. Where's Kenny then? He's second. I'm not too sure. I think that Johnny Kenny gives you a little bit more than Shin Yamada. I'm just saying. But anyway, Baz McCown had a bit of a bad game. Yeah, he did, didn't he? He was, to be fair, on Luke McCown, he got his foot trampled on twice. And if you've ever had studs on the top of your foot, that's a fucking sore one. You know, your nose mobile, and then you're not kicking the ball as hard because that's a little bit tender on the top of your foot. So you can understand why Luke McCowan wasn't at his best after getting. And by the way, the referee never gave one foul for the twice that he got trampled on the top of his foot. He never got one booking against him. Not a chance, you're hovering, says Brown Warrior. About what? Thomas says the striker will work ethics. Let me just get these comments up on the screen. Where are they? Angelo's in the house. Shin not fit. Shin the yin, not for the bin. I'm going to say in current form, yes, Kenny over Adam Ida. Kenny yet to score in Europe in a final and against the Huns. Yeah, but Mikey boy, you can only go on current form. You can't, you know, but that's all we can do as Celtic supporters. I mean, for me, I think personally, Johnny Kenny, his form and what he gives to the team is far better than Adam Ida just now. I said that going into the start of the season. If you look back at my comments during pre-season, I thought that Johnny Kenny might have started the season. But the boss went with Adam Ida, and Adam Ida's got a bit of an injury now. So, will he struggled to get... I don't care about the price tag of him, right? And I don't care about the price tag of people sitting... I mean, there's nobody complaining about the price tag of everyone sitting on the bench today, was there? And some of you good mathematicians tell me the Dane Van Dyke. Some of you that are absolutely amazing with mathematics, the mathematicians out there, tell me the valuation of the squad that was on the bench at the start of the game, because we've had a lot of negativity about how much squad players were worth. You know, there's £30 million worth on the bench. There was way more than that today. Way more. There must have been about 80, I don't know, about 60, 70 million pounds worth on the bench. Nobody's screaming about it today, though. Kenny seems to be growing in the team. Yes, Mark, I think so. I think Rangers Rabo on Talk Sport. What the fuck? Oh, Jesus. Fucking hell. I'd put Kenny and Maida up front all day long on Tuesday. That's a good shout, actually. But with the lack of wingers that we have at Celtic, unfortunately it's not going to happen, because we do need Dyson to come down the wing and give us a bit of pace. I would like to see the two of them playing through the middle together. I think that would be a fantastic... I mean, playing a 3-5-2 in the SPFL with once we do get wingers in, with Johnny Kenny and Dyson Maida, what a double act that would be. That would give you a throwback to... Don't say it, but Sutton and Larson type double act. It's controversial. Guys done well today. Eventually a striker that scores. P.S. Inamur as a player, says James. He did grow into the game. 200 million? Away. It wasn't 200 million sitting on the bench. Stephen Johnson says 41 million. He's drunk. If we're looking to sell them, there's no way is it just 40 million, considering we bought CCV. Jim McClarty, I was panicking before the game. I couldn't see where the goals were coming from. Who's worse, McCowan or Engels? So yeah, and I still stand by it. I couldn't see where the goals were coming from the front line. I couldn't see Shin Yamada, Yang was unlucky. He hits that header against the keeper. The keeper hits it against the bar. You know, he should have buried it. But other than that, it was a 3-0 win, and we take it. We take it all day long. And it was scored by a striker that didn't start the game. And that's more my point. I think Johnny Kenny should have started that game today, because I think Johnny Kenny would have got a hat-trick today. Yeah, I think Johnny Kenny could have got a hat-trick today. Do you think that will help us go through on Tuesday? I think what it will do is it allows Brendan Rodgers a bit of breathing space. He will go into the press conference in the next... he's probably in it just now. He'll go into the press conference and he's got a little bit of breathing space because he rested quite a lot of the team. Got to remember, after Falkirk last year, Brendan Rodgers said, I made a mistake. I'm not doing that again. I'm not making as many changes in the team. And he did. He made a shitload of changes today. And that's what got me nervous, thinking about back to last year, thinking back to the Falkirk game, and it didn't quite work out. Luckily for us, Livingston weren't as good as what I thought they were going to be. I thought Livingston would have been a bit better. But it is what it is. Thank goodness. Thank goodness, because I tell you one thing, on paper, when we seen this team, this starting 11, it was a bit... I mean, I got a few texts for guys that were going to games and they were like, I'm fucking dreading this. In the first 20 minutes, to be fair, it was all about players finding their feet, which was good. I think if it was a different team, if it was a Hearts, a Motherwell, a Dundee United, an Aberdeen, a Rangers, you're not making that many changes. We'll leave Rangers out of the equation because you're not making that many changes for the team. But if it was any other team bar Livingston, I think that we got to just... It was an easy game to get in with. Scales was comfortable on the ball. Do you know what I mean? And the only downside, the first 20 minutes for me, he would look at Inamura and he would pass to Inamura, and Inamura would go and pass back to Scales. But we got over that. We got over that. And then there was one time that Scales took the ball out, and then he looked at Inamura and went, fuck that, you've passed the ball back to me. It was 8 out of 9 times that he passed the ball back to Scales. So Scales passed it the other way. Even though Inamura's standing like this, with no one round him, Scales went, fuck that, I'm not putting myself under pressure again. It was a good move by Scales. He grew into the game, Inamura. Is he Champions League level? Hell friggin' no. Hell no. Is he SPFL level? Yes. Is he backup level? Yes. Is he a first team start every week? No. Not a chance. Are a lot of these players first team starts every week? Hell no. Dane Murray, fantastically tired a bit towards the end. Benji shows the quality that he's got. You've got to say, the best player that was on the pitch, that gives it all, that has the most talent, has to be James Forrest. James Forrest, at 17 years playing for Celtic, is still one of the most mobile, one of the most technically advanced at going forward. He's got the pace. He's still got everything that he had. Well, maybe not a bit of pace, but he's still got more than 90% of this Celtic team that started the game today. And that was a worrying thing for me. The fact that on the wing, you've got to bring James Forrest on to be just James Forrest. And that is the worrying point. Hank says, I think given Scales the captaincy, he brought out the best of him. Yes, definitely. He was like a different guy. It was unbelievable. There was a steadiness in his game. There was a confidence that I've not seen in Scales for a while. He seemed to... It was only Livingston. Let's not get overly excited. It was only Livingston, but he came through it with flying colours. You've got to say, he did come through it with flying colours. Benji should never be on the wing. No, he's not a winger all day long. He's not as good as Kuhn. He's not as good as Daisen Maeda. We need wingers in. It's as simple as that. Benji is better coming inside from the position that he plays upside Callum McGregor, the number 8 position, and making those runs into the box. That when he gets the ball and he runs and he hits the perfect pass, and then he keeps on running running into the box, and the ball comes off the keeper. But there you go. You've got to make that run. and that's a good player. That's a good player. Would he have done that if he'd been on the wing? He was kind of came inside at that point, and I think he plays better just inside. I don't think having him as a complete winger is the answer, and I think that Brendan Rodgers knows that. Having him sitting in the number 8 position beside Callum McGregor, allowing him those runs, late runs into the box, he plays that absolutely brilliant. Forrest is our Lampard. I think that James Forrest is... He never knows when to give up. Do you know, it's 17 years of playing for Celtic. You would think that, I mean, coming towards the end of his career at Celtic, it would be okay if you were like, it's James Forrest, he's past it, he's retiring at the end of the year. But not, he's like, fuck this, I want to try and score. I mean, he has that shot and it's right at the keeper's hands. He does that more times, and if he stays injury free this season, he will score more than one goal before the last game of the season. That's true. Agree by this. Benji is better through the middle. Benji is not a winger. He was brought in at Celtic as a winger. Well, Baz, you got your answer when I said 3-0. Yamada goal offside as well. Tight. Yeah, it was that. It was offside. I wouldn't let Yang go this window. If we bring in... You wouldn't let him go this window, but let's face it, when Jota comes back into the team, and then when we bring in another 2 wingers this window, Yang won't be... Yang's not the long-term answer at the club. He is a player, but... Will Brendan Rodgers be given the time and... or will it be next year? There's all sorts of questions with Yang. Could this be the year that he kind of needs to settle, and it's next year you see the benefit of it? I don't know. David Castle's offer a bag of cans. Angelo, where's Angelo? Bernardo played well in place of Kalmak. Yep, he did. He's not as good as Kalmak in the position. You've seen the difference between Paulo Bernardo playing the position and Kalmak. We don't have a natural leader in the middle of the park that can take over long, and that's the worry for me. That's still a worry. We are coming to the end of an era when Kalmak retires in a couple of seasons' time. You know, it's all fine and dandy talking about the fact that James Forrest still does it. But you look at the difference when Kalmak come on. Do you know, pointing to positions, telling players where to make runs to. Kalmak does that. He does it fucking better than anybody. Bernardo was good, yes, but he's just... Maybe it's an age thing. Maybe he can grow into it. Maybe we're doing Bernardo an injustice, and maybe Bernardo can become that player in years to come. But will he be at Celtic in years to come? That's the worry for me. I thought Shin Yamada was good today. His movement was good. His movement was good, but was it as good? And is he as good a striker at this current moment as Johnny Kenny in the SPFL? I think Johnny Kenny holds it up better. I think he's a bit more physical. He likes to... I'm just siding with Johnny Kenny just now. Hopefully Shin Yamada can start... Maybe when he gets the goals, you know, and he starts banging them in, we'll fall in love with Shin Yamada the way that we did Kyogo, the way we have with Dyson, the way we did with Adamida when he won us the Scottish Cup final. What is it with Engels fouling? It must be the worst tackler in the team. Whoa. Stuart Ramsey says, Baz, I didn't have high hopes at half time. Yeah, I did go into the channel and said, what did you think of the game at half time? I've got to say, in quality terms, the first 25-30 minutes of the game, I was sitting WhatsApping my brother back in Scotland saying Tommy Burns had a better attacking team than this. And it was like we had regressed back to the 1990s. Now, with that being said, are we doing this squad a disservice? That was a question that made me think of that. And when we look at the players today that came in and done the job in the SPFL, Are we being too harsh on the Celtic squad? There's been 309 votes. 60% say yes. 40% say no. I'm kind of on the fence. I understand that if you're the board, you're the board sitting up on their perch today, right? The wee parrots up on the Parkhead perch. If you're them, you're sitting looking, we don't need to spend too much money. We'll waltz the league. Easily win the league. That's the B team that we'll put on today. Look at the money that we've sat on the bench. Look at the money that's sat on the bench. Be humble, Celtic. You know, it is all about being humble. They would sit and think, yeah, we've got enough to win the league. Do we need to spend 20 million this summer? That's the reality of the situation where the board are sitting. Do you know, they're thinking, yeah, we're going into the Champions League, we'll get into it, it's 40 million in the bank, happy days, we'll get a wee couple of $100,000 bonuses at the end of the year, it's all good. We give Brendan Rodgers a wee nice shake of the hands, and then we'll see him off and we'll get somebody else in. Simple. We're still here. We're the forever dominant Celtic board that you can't get rid of. Anyway, let's jump back into the comments section. Bernardo was excellent today, says Raymond. And if we beat the Guns at the end of the month, it could be almost 10 more points. Michelle says the first half was frustrating, and she's not just talking about her Celtic TV that kept on dropping. Barry, if we give Forrest, you were giving Forrest stinking the other day, complaining about his age. I've never complained about his age. I have a laugh about the fact that I say he's 180. Go back and check, Ouija. Go back and check. I never give him stick about his age. I have a laugh about the fact that I call him 180. So it's nothing about changing your tune. And you're allowed to have an opinion on things. That's what the channel's called. You can have your opinion. That's why you've just got it up there. Bernardo playing his first football of the season did well. Yep, considering that he was. Bernardo was pissed is the next comment. Considering Bernardo did play a lot of football during the summer for Portugal. Bernardo had a good start last season, then vanished for some reason. He wasn't given game time, was he? Not really. Martin will be sacked for the second leg. Who cares about them? But Bernardo's still at Celtic because no one will buy him. He's a dud. That's very unfair. I don't think that he's a dud. He's not a dud at all. Yang bang for his head, more pens. I think Bernardo will leave. Hope he doesn't because he's a player. I don't think so. Johnny Kenny did well today. Yang is total pish. Just some of the comments. Maida through the middle. I'm not too sure. Yamada's done more start another striker in 18 months. James Smith says Yamada is not square sausage mix because I went out for a pint. That's why. I'd rather go out for a pint than sitting here and you know what I mean? Rather enjoy myself sometimes. It's not being harsh, but blatantly obvious that we could be doing so much better considering the finances and what we have available. And yeah, this is true. I vote yes, but we still need 4 players. Yeah, we do that. Brendan's. Who cares about Leicester? I've got to remember it was only Livy today. Yeah, exactly. Check your for new left back negotiations. Ooh, check me out. 2 seconds. A new left back negotiations. We haven't allowed the young man Donovan. What is so? Oh, come on. Celtic are in negotiations with a Boca Juniors Uruguay international Marcelo. The initial loan offer with an option to buy has been made for the left back. Oh, Boca fucking Juniors player. Come on, we never do well with South Americans. Oh. And Spanish-speaking players. We never do. Or the Uruguayans, no, they speak Spanish, South American Spanish. Hopefully, Marcelo at Celtic is a left back. For the guy that's coming out with it's got 475,000 followers in South America. So there has to be. Holy shit. Let me just translate this. Option de comprar, option to buy. Yep. Holy shit. Yeah, it's a loan with an option to buy. Well, there you go. Option to buy. Holy shit. Let's get this one up. Breaking Celtic transfer news. Even though that we played a young guy today in the team, there is breaking Celtic news this afternoon at Celtic. Thank you, Michelle. As always, Celtic are in. Well, after Brendan Rodgers talks shite. Brendan Rodgers says we wouldn't be going into the market for a left back. And then this story has just broken. Let me just get the screen done a bit. This story is just broken coming out of South America, and this guy does have just around about 500,000 followers from South America, and it does say that Celtic have opened negotiations and wants to sign Marcelo from Boca, and they already had a loan offer for 1 year with the final purchase option understood. It may improve the amounts of the option. The deal could be feasible. Holy macaroni! Celtic are going for a South American Uruguayan player as left back. So much for Brendan Rodgers telling us that we're not going to go into the transfer market. And there's a couple of super chats. Billy, big up the super chat. Stephen Johnston. Couple of mate, that could get me dinner. That could get you a menu del dia here. 3 courses, a coffee and a beer. Easily. Thank you, mate. Anyway, the breaking news this afternoon. What do you think of that, Celtic fans? A bit of breaking Celtic transfer news. Signing would be better. Unbelievable. If it does come off, he must be a player. I mean, if he's at Boca Juniors, he'll be a player that's got a bit of grit about him, and it's just what Celtic need going into the Champions League. Are Celtic about to flip the whole friggin' transfer window on its head? And are we going to bring in 5 players before the window shuts? It's Saturday the 23rd of August. We have just over 1 week and 2 days left of the transfer window. Celtic travel out tomorrow to Kazakhstan on that lengthy journey. By the time that the team takes to the flight and flies back, not on their drone, flies back to the good old Scotland on the Wednesday. By the time that we get back on the Wednesday, will Brendan Rodgers be talking about the fact that we could have at least 3 new players in at the club, and one of them being a player from South America? A bit of good news to end the day with. Absolutely brilliant, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant news. Fantastic news for that. It would be a great signing if it happens. Fake news, says Raymond Wing. Fake news. Right, tell you what, I'll send you the link to this guy who has fake news. He is a journalist specialising in the transfer market in South America, and he has 474,000 598 followers. But you need to wait until your Scottish news or your Celtic fan media has fucking spoken about it before you'll believe anything else out there. Wait till you see the Celtic fan media running with this story in about half an hour time. Check out your favourite Celtic blog, Hail 67, for your latest Rangers news. Just saying. That's all they fucking news. That's all they do is Rangers news. Anyway, fantastic if that one does come off. ¿Por qué? What for? Because what? Hail. Raymond. We had the same when we carried over here. There's no difference. Izzy was good South American. Yeah, Izzy was the last good South American. So, when it comes to the end of the day, fake news, pure Trump patter. Fabrizio Romano has ruined the excitement of the transfer window. Yeah, he has that, isn't it? Believe it, we're going to see it, Baz. Well, let's just hope it does happen, because I think that Brendan Rodgers just doesn't like fucking telling us anything. And I think he's just going, I'm fucking saying nothing. We're bringing in 5 players, and see when we do, I'll sit back and go, get that right up, yous. Anyway, on that note, have an absolutely fantastic evening, Celtic fans all around the world. I deserve a pint for that one, because that's a cracking story. Thank you, Michelle. Oh, wait a minute. Before we go, Baz, give my wife Avril a mention. There you go. Avril, hi. Weird.